All right. So normally I don't like to comment on shows, especially in my category of open bodybuilding. Being a competitor and just focusing on me and competing at the Olympia is what I feel I should stick to. But in this case, with the Tampa Pro, I feel I should say something.
What's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. Let's talk about first the aftermath of the Tampa Pro. It looks like there was a bit of controversy, specifically fans of Muhammad Fuda, who took second place here, really voicing their opinions pretty loudly on social media, and nothing wrong with that. You won't really see much of it on either John's page or Mo's page. It looks like they've moderated their comments a little bit, but if you look at almost any bodybuilding, like just bodybuilding Instagram page that covers these shows, and you look in the comment section of any of their Tampa Pro results posts, like every comment is saying Mo Fuda was robbed, Mo deserved to win, and most of them look like they are Middle Eastern accounts or names, or Egyptian accounts or names. So definitely, specifically, Mo's fan base. Now, one of the reasons why this started to get more traction is Derek Lunsford actually posted a very long Instagram story today reacting to some of these comments towards John. And I think where the problem was, there's nothing really wrong with saying your favorite bodybuilder should have won. There's nothing really wrong with saying your favorite bodybuilder was robbed. I mean, that's kind of what bodybuilding is. Different bodybuilders have their own fan bases, and their fan bases want to see their guy win. So that's totally fine, but apparently it escalated, kind of like it did with the Derek and Hottie rivalry, to death threats and more serious hate comments like that towards John. And I think Derek could really relate to that because he kind of went through a very similar thing when he beat Hottie Chupin at the Olympia. It was these fan bases of these guys are very hardcore, dedicated groups of fans. And Derek kind of reacts to that and says, look, there's no need for this. I'll play a brief portion of his stories because it was pretty long, but I'll give you guys a general idea of what Derek said in reaction to some of the comments that he saw John getting. And he also effectively says he was there, he was sitting front row, and he thought John clearly deserved to win and that the judges made the right decision.
About that guy. All in all, what I saw was that the judges did absolutely get it right. I can see from pictures and videos and things like that online that, maybe you could draw up a different perspective, but actually being at the show tells the tale. And I was there, front row, and it was pretty obvious to me that John's conditioning is what won him the show. Now, I think you can definitely make an argument for Muhammad coming in second, that maybe, he was really challenging John. But all in all, this is the same thing I actually told Muhammad in person yesterday when I dropped off some food to him. He got stuck at the airport and didn't have food. So with the storm here in Florida, a lot of flights got canceled, so I wanted to make sure to take care of him. That's besides the point. But when I went and talked to him, he asked me what I thought, and I said, look, developmentally, you can definitely bring up your back in the off season, but I said between now and the Olympia, or even this past show, I think that it was a conditioning factor. I think that bringing a little bit sharper conditioning, you could have won the show, but that's where John edged you out. So the reason why I'm commenting this and talking about this is, one, I was at the show, I saw it, and I want to congratulate John, I want to congratulate Muhammad and everybody else that competed, who put in the hard work and stood on that stage. But that being said, I also have heard heard that there were some comments by some fans that were hateful comments. And I've experienced this myself, winning the Olympia last year. I still get hateful comments, and it's just not right. Guys, look, we have our favorite bodybuilders that we like to support and we want to get behind. We want to see them win, and we think sometimes, oh, they should have won, and they didn't. But that's why I started off by saying, I saw it firsthand that John was a clear-cut winner. Could Muhammad have won? Sure. But I think, again, if he would have came in a little bit better, he could have won the show. But that day, John was the rightful champion. The hateful comments, whether it be towards athletes and competitors or whether it be family members, spouse or whatever, is just uncalled for, guys.
So I agree with pretty much everything that Derek said in his story post. I think that John did deserve to win. I thought it was close. In fact, I even thought it was closer than even the scorecards reflect. So I wanted to show you guys the scorecards just to give you guys an idea of John's victory. John had a score of 5 at prejudging and 5 at finals. And it's important to note here, we're looking at the scores of 5 judges. That means John won with straight votes for first at prejudging and straight votes for first at finals. So it wasn't that close, at least in the eyes of the judges. In fact, Mo Fuda at prejudging had a score of 11. So that wasn't even straight votes for second. That means there was at least one judge that had him in third at prejudging. But then at finals, he did have a straight score of 10, which means every judge had him in second. So I show that to you guys to say almost every show that we've seen, like let's say the past 5 or so shows, like the Dubai show, all those shows that we saw Nathan Diasha, Beirut Tabani, William Bonac going head-to-head, every single one of those shows, the score was much, much closer between the top 2 guys than this show, this Tampa show. So I'm kind of surprised to see, the level of, death threats and hate towards John, considering when you look at the scorecards, almost every other show that we've seen recently was much closer than this between 1 and 2. And yeah, a lot of those shows had a similar reaction of people saying, it should have went the other way or whatever, which again is fine. But I think we got to remember, while we're fans of bodybuilding, it's fun, it's enjoyable, it's entertaining. Everybody has their favorite guy. Everybody wants their guy to win. At the end of the day, we got to reel it back a little bit and remember, at the end of the day, we're talking about guys flexing on stage. It's really not that serious to elevate it to the level of death threats because your guy didn't win. And like I said, wanting your guy to win, thinking he should have won, thinking he was robbed, that's totally fine. But at the end of the day, we are talking about a sport or a pageant, whatever you want to call it, that's very superficial. It's very surface level. We're talking about physiques. We're talking about muscles. This isn't a personal thing. It's not that deep. It's not that serious. It doesn't need to rise to the level of death threats. And also, I think when we have these types of situations, it's also important to remember it's weird when you see the hate directed at the guy that won because it was the judges that made him win. It was their decision. It wasn't up to the guy that won. So hating on the guy that won doesn't really make any sense to me. There's nothing he can do about it. And like I said, that's why I showed you the scorecard, because there was even a judge that had Mo in third. So that was how far the judges had him from winning. One of them even had him in third. So it wasn't even straight seconds. And it should go without saying, but that also means that not one single judge had him winning. And that final score between John and Mo, John had a score of 10, the final score, and Mo had 21. That's 11 points separating the two of them. It wasn't a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 point decision. There was double-digit points in between these two guys. And I point that out because I feel like in situations like this, if you want to say, maybe a judge was biased or, maybe this was one of the judges was rigged or whatever, which I don't believe that's true in this case. But if you wanted to argue that, I think maybe your argument would be strongest if it was a 1 or 2 point decision where one judge's score that could be corrupt or paid off or whatever the speculation is, when it's that close, that theory would make more sense. But when every single judge, when the gap is this big, what's the argument? Every judge paid off, it was rigged, every judge is corrupt? But anyway, it's done. John won. John and Mo are both going to the Olympia. It's time to move on, get over it. We'll see the rematch at the Olympia. But yeah, that's kind of the recap of the aftermath of the Chicago Pro. Overall, like I said, it's great to see engaging comments. It's great to see people passionate about their favorite bodybuilder. It's great to see people analyzing a show like the Tampa Pro and talking about all the poses. They think their guy won. They think the other guy lost. I like to see that. But just rising to the level of death threats, which most of them have been scrubbed, hateful things about his wife, or his girlfriend, I guess, maybe his wife. I don't know if they're married or not, but that stuff I think mostly has been scrubbed. I just think it's silly. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Did you think this was a controversial call? But more importantly, what do you think about the level that these comments have risen to? And like I said, if you haven't seen them, you can pretty much go to any bodybuilding page, Bodybuilders Without Borders, Buys and Tries, Fitness Vault, any of these accounts that are not John or Mo's account. You can see the comments pretty much running wild on any post about the Tampa Pro. But comment down below, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, click that bell notification icon, and as always, I love you guys, appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. Alright guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also check out my Instagram at NickStrengthPower. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.